Welcome back to Pole Obsession. This is part 2 of our favourite Australian pole studios.
Sydney Pole. We can't talk about pole studios without talking about Sydney Pole, especially in Sydney, because it's Sydney Pole.
It's Sydney Pole.
It is.
Do you know how old Sydney Pole is? Like, do you know when they opened their first studio?
Yeah, I know a little bit of stuff about Sydney Pole. So from my knowledge, and Robin will let us know if we're not right, I think that Robin opened the first studio maybe with Jamila.
Oh.
So I think it was a different...
Long time ago?
Long time ago. And then she opened another studio, and it wasn't a big studio. It was a smallish studio, but the government were putting a road there. So they were doing some building works or putting a road there. So she had to move, and they helped her move. So I had this conversation with Robin not too long ago, actually, and she found a space, and this is where, when it exploded, so she found a space, this massive big building in Camperdown, and she built there. So the government helped move her, and then she opened this massive studio, and then from that studio, that's when everything took off. Then she had all these other studios.
Yeah, amazing. Because it's such an identifiable studio, like instantaneously, like pretty much right from that purple, you're like, oh, it's Sydney Pole. Like, it's so beautiful, like such great like visual and branding, like it's just spot on.
Yeah, and it's big, like it's a big operation. Like, she's got a lot of instructors, she's got a lot of operations staff. It's much bigger than what you would think it is. So, and she's been very smart with the marketing. I love that about a studio owner that can, sort of step outside the box and create something. She's done that. So.
Yeah, and just like push forward. It's very inspiring, and I love to see it.
Yeah, same. I think it's great. So well done, Sydney Pole, and well done, Robin. And Robin with her husband too. I don't know her husband's name, but I know that she has him too, which is
amazing.
Nice.
There's so much to learn from like all these amazing people.
Yeah, so much. And we're going to get you on the podcast, Robin. Surprise. We want to talk to you.
We want to know your brain.
We do. Okay, so we're going to move on now to Muse Pole Studio, which is in New South Wales. So Muse is owned by, can you guess?
No, give me a clue.
Okay, she's competing in battle this year.
Great. I remember everyone who's competing in battle.
We spoke about her because she's inspirational. Very inspirational award. Created it maybe because of this person.
Oh.
I
remember. I remember this whole conversation, and I don't remember what we were talking about.
But you remember the conversation?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, everyone probably who's listening to this had heard us the first time or the podcast, they'll be going, it's Reese Reeve.
Oh, yeah. Somebody.
Yeah.
I don't know how you remember everything, actually. Like, how do you remember so many everythings?
I actually don't know. Is that
You remember everything. It's nuts. Like, it's so crazy. I remember nothing and you remember, which is why we're a great team, because I don't remember anything and you remember all the things. And then you correct me and I'm grateful.
Some of my students and instructors, they call me a walking pole encyclopedia.
You literally are. Like, you remember everything so well as well. Like, I don't remember anything at all.
I live and breathe this pole dancing of ours.
I know you do. You do, and you're so good at remembering. You should write a little book, like a little.
I think I might write a book, actually.
Yeah, a little history of pole according to Elle.
Yeah.
a tell-all expose.
Oh my goodness, can you imagine that?
You know what my book would be? I started pole dancing, I forgot everything, the end.
I don't think your book would be that at all, but okay then. It definitely would not be that.
Truly.
All right.
All right. Moving on.
Muse Pole Studio. So Reese, she is like the most inspirational pole dancer I've honestly ever met. So we talked about, that she does have the stage 4 cancer. Whilst she has this, after she's competed in APC, she says, I think I'm gonna open my own studio, Elle. I'm like, you're amazing. You're absolutely amazing. So she's opened this studio, I think maybe a year and a half, and she does it with X stages, and she carries them herself. I don't know how many she's got, maybe 8 or something. And she takes them out of her car and she sets up in different venues, and that's how she runs these studios. I think she's got different, yeah, but she sets them up. So last year when we were packing up Expo, because we use X stages, the X stage lights for Expo, she packed them up faster than anyone. No, I said, no, you don't have to do it, because she was one of our, students there. She was like, no, it's fine. I actually like doing this. And there was 3 boys that I had there. And my partner said to me, he's like, Elle, can we have Reese next year? And I'm like, she's just doing that kindness. And he goes, she was better than everyone. Like, she was just like a machine.
She's got it down packed.
Yeah.
Dunk. That is in itself such an admirable skill, because the amount of tears of frustration that I cry trying to break those dang things down, they are frustration station. Also, putting them up sometimes is annoying as well.
Have you ever pinched your finger in one of them?
Yes, I have.
The worst.
Literally so painful and so annoying, because like your pole dance, you have to use your hands. Like you snap your little thing, like get a blood. Oh, it's so. Yeah. It's enraging me just thinking about it. So anybody who's got skills with those, mad props. Mad props.
Mad props, yeah. And in the plates, I've caught my finger, which is the worst. Yeah. But she said to me that she goes, all these muscles that I've got, Elle, they're not from pole, they're from putting the X stages up and down.
And carrying 8 X stages, like any more than 1 X stage. I remember I did a gig once with an X stage, and that is when I swore never again to do a gig with an X stage, because I had to go and set it up myself. And maybe I'm just too much of a princess, but I was like, well, I hate this. I just hated it. I did not like it at all. And that is my experience.
Yeah.
So a big props to be like, if you can do that and take it in your stride and just be like, yeah, I'm good at it. Like, wow, another inspirational thing, because I'm such a small person. I'm like, no, I'm annoyed by this. I'll never do it again.
I know. And imagine setting it up and packing it up 5 times a week.
That's amazing. That's a lot of muscles.
Yeah. So she does that because she loves pole dancing and she loves her students, and she's just a great person.
So, what a beautiful lady.
Yeah, she's definitely inspirational, that's for sure. So now we're going to go to WA, and my first one on my list, of course, is Polaris.
What pole dancing studios are in WA that we want to talk about? Let's talk about my one.
I was going to say, do you know why we're talking about Polaris? Remember that studio you've got there?
You know that studio that I have? It's called Polaris. It's in WA. Yeah, but to be fair, I am super proud of it. I'm super proud of this space. I think it's really beautiful. I'm also really, really proud of all of our students. Again, we have lovely people there, really genuinely some absolute superstars. They are so supportive of each other. They're super kind. They're very respectful. They're very lovely people. And I feel like it's not by accident. It is very curated almost. You create a space that you want to thrive in, and it was important to me to create a space that is, like we said, filled with love and compassion and kindness and support, and to create a safe environment that is fun, where people can pole dance. You don't have to be great at it. You don't have to be the best in the world. And I think that's important. Coming from someone who is quite good at pole dancing, it doesn't change your experience of it. When you are the best in the world, you don't feel any better about your pole dancing than when you first start, that very first class that you do, and you're just loving it. It doesn't make it any better. It's still the same experience. So we all love pole dancing. That's why we're here. And so to just have that space and to have those people around you that make you feel good, that was really important to me, to make that environment, and to also make it a beautiful space, a space that's really lovely to dance in, which is why I made it really dark.
Yeah, no. Well, I have been to your studio and it is a beautiful studio. And I love when you first walk in all the greenery. Like I
Yes,
think that's really pretty. Plants are beautiful and that
we
really
have a jungle. We call it the jungle because
is
it's just
beautiful.
like just green. It's all white and green when you first come in, and then the studios are all like a different mood. They're like dark and moody.
Yeah, but super pretty as well for lighting and all of the videos that come out of your studio look gorgeous as well. So
Yeah, we try to
yeah,
keep it so that the videos look nice because it is like where your advertising is really. If your people are like filming and then they're putting it on Instagram, like it's free advertising. So I try to make it look good. I've got some ideas still to make it better. And it's like now that I'm not got a baby in me, I can get in there and do it. Because I think I'm a bit like you. I like to do everything by myself. Like I painted that entire studio. It was drywall and white, not even a base coat on it. So I painted everything, the primer, the everything. It took, I was 9 months pregnant when I did that. Like I painted the whole damn thing. Because I just want to do things myself. I don't know. I don't know why.
well, I do know why because I'm the same. So it's just like I can
Isn't
do
it?
it, so you do. And it's also,
Yeah.
to be fair, if you actually can paint it yourself, you're saving a lot of money. So
I mean, this is it. Like we talked about budget before. Like when you get a quote from a painter and you look at it and you go, 50K,
yeah,
I could just do it myself.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
you do it and then you realize why it's so expensive.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, that's it. Yeah. Well, no, it is. You've created a beautiful space and you've created a beautiful studio. And I know a lot of, your students and instructors just from the competitions and, meeting them when I've gone into your studio and they're just sweet,
Thank you.
lovely,
Love,
beautiful people. Yeah.
thank
And
you. I
it's a
love to hear
nice,
that.
it is a lovely studio to walk into. And I think it's got a beautiful feel. And I think obviously that comes down to you creating such a nice space. So,
Thanks.
WA Polaris.
Yay!
Love it. And we've got to mention it's a 24-hour studio.
It is a 24-hour studio. Now, don't come at me, people, because I feel like I said some words. Actually, not. I'm not going to say that. I'm just going to say um, it is a 24-hour studio. And as far as I know, it's the first standalone pole dancing studio that is 24 hours. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
No, I think you're right. I think you're right. You've created something amazing. And the fact that people can pole in there 24 hours a day is awesome.
Yeah, thank you. I thought it was awesome too.
It is. You've done a great job. All right. So, should we move on to now? I've written down here. Now, you can say other ones if you want to, but this is me writing it down.
Yes.
I've written down Invertica Pole Dance and Fitness. The reason I've written down Invertica is because Caroline, Kaz owns it.
Yes.
And what I love about Invertica, she comes to our expo a lot and she's just such a cool person. But the big thing I love about it is my operations manager, so Aerial Pole Academy's operations manager, and one of my closest friends and somebody who's worked for me for over 10 years. Her name is Gail, my love, Gail. She left me in Canberra, can you believe it? And she moved to WA. So when she moved there, this was the closest studio to her. And she's like, "Oh, Elle, I think I'm going to go to this one." I said, "Oh, we'll go and try it." And then she messaged me. I said, "Tell me what it was like." And she's like, "Oh, they're all so nice and they're all so welcoming and it's just so nice to be there." And I just feel like Caroline looked after Gail. And I think that's how she is with her students. And to me, that says so much.
She's a lovely, lovely, lovely person. Like,
Yeah.
she's really, doesn't surprise me at all hearing that. I've actually never been to her studio. It's quite far away from where I'm north and they're south. But it does not surprise me at all. She's a lovely, lovely human.
Yeah. So, yeah, I want to put Invertica there. And where is she? North?
She's south. I think
South.
she's
So
south. Yeah, yeah.
if you're south, go see her.
Yeah,
Go see her.
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm also gonna shout out the Pole Arms, which is even norther than me. They are in, forgot the
Oh,
name of the suburb. The Pole Arms in Karama. There we go. It got there. That is run by Champagne, or Julie, as we may or may not know her. And it's like a home studio, but it is one of the most spectacular studios that I've ever been in. It's huge. I think she has 5 poles in there now, but it's a really big space. She's got an aerial pole in there as well. It's like a big building on the side of her house. It's on her property, but it's not like a home studio. It's like a built for purpose pole dancing studio, like floor to ceiling windows on one side. And she lives on this beautiful property where you can just see like the gorgeous artwork she's built outside, and the trees, and there's ponies, and like it's magical. It is whimsical out there. And she's always been so welcoming, so warm, so kind, so supportive of everything I've done. And I love dancing in her space as well. I haven't been there for ages, but my gosh, it's beautiful. So there's some really great pole studios in WA that have touched our souls.
Yeah, I know the pole arms. Like when she first opened it, I was following her on Instagram because she's competed with us as well, and I was like, what is this studio? It's beautiful.
Amazing. It's so beautiful. Like I would even say it is more beautiful than Polaris. Different, but it's like it's just gorgeous. The whole experience, like being out in nature, and yeah, it's very spectacular.
What a cool thing to have on your property. So we're so jealous of you, Julie.
And
I actually said to her that I want to come and see it. She's like, yes, come, I'll come. But
yeah. Next time you're here, we'll definitely go out. The other thing to note is that, like, behind those mirrors, Julie is a collector of all things fabulous, and she has 1 million costumes and 1 million in every color, and she's got them all color coordinated and all like everything. Like she opens up the mirror and it just like sparkle, like this just tidal wave of color and sparkle comes at you, and it's beautiful. It is the most incredible, wonderful space filled with sparkly costumes. I mean, it doesn't get any better.
No, it doesn't. I love it. And I've noticed over the years she's built a bit of a collection of teddies and all sorts of things in there as well.
She and her husband are collectors. They collect things. Like they have things that they collect, and so there's like various and all through the houses as well. It's like everything's on display. It's like it's beautiful. They present it so beautifully as well.
Well, yeah, I'm going to visit next time. Definitely.
Yeah. We should have there should be like a pole roadmap. You know what I mean? Like the Michelin star restaurants, like where you should go.
Yes, let's do it. If you want us to visit your studio, message us.
Yeah, we'll go on.
Let's do it. We'll go on a little bit of a tour.
A studio tour. That would be so fun, like a road trip studio tour.
God, can you imagine?
That would be fun.
We'll bring the cameras with us and film studios. Yeah. So if you want us to see your studio and we haven't mentioned your studio, tell us.
Yeah, let us know. We'd love to see. We love looking at studios. It's true though. It's so funny when you have built a studio. You like look at studios and you're like, oh, that's a great idea. Wow, you have such admiration when you see something you're like, oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. All right, so let's move on. Now we're going out of WA and we're going to go into, Canberra is next.
Canberra. Is there a studio in Canberra? How funny that we just talked about WA and now we're going to talk about Canberra, which I know where that is as well. And can you think of a studio in Canberra that we should talk about?
Well, there's this real big one now called Aerial Pole Academy. So we are pole and we are aerials, and I have opened a new one there at the beginning of this year, and it is, if I do say so myself, stunning. Stunning. I really want you to come and see this one. I know you saw my old one.
I haven't seen it. Yeah, I saw that, which is so beautiful. Like we were saying before, like it's a really beautiful space. We have such different styles, don't we? Like yours is such like glam and like really clean and gorgeous. Like I want to say classic, like beautiful.
It's a little bit bougie.
Yeah, bougie chic. Absolutely. And mine's like a
So,
jump.
yeah, it's so funny. Chili said to me, I was talking to her about it, and she's like, yours is like the Versace of pole studios, Elle. And I said, yeah, but Chili, I've opened a new one. So can we move up to Chanel or Hermes of pole studios now?
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
we
No,
have,
I can't wait to see it. Yeah, because like beautiful and beautifully designed as well. Like the spaces are so nicely designed.
yeah. Well, so we have like a lot of things in there. So we've got the shop in there, and then we've got like we can buy all the shoes and different outfits and whatever grips, whatever you need for pole. But we've got a massive aerial studio with 7-meter ceilings, and
Mm.
it's all sprayed and obviously chandeliers. I've got this thing with chandeliers. So we've got that as you walk in, and it's all black, the first room. So with all the big glass around so you can see like, the plants and everything on the outside. I've actually got real plants in that one on the outside. And I know, real ones. Then you walk through and I've got a big fitness studio, which we do bar and aerial Pilates, which is really cool. And so in the aerial ones, we've got trapeze and Lyra, and actually the first time you did Lyra was in my studio, wasn't it?
Yeah, I feel like it was. And I didn't like it.
No. You're very good at it though.
I was like, ow, 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 ow.
Yeah. The first time Andrea did Lyra was in my studio too, and I think I just forced you guys in there. Go on, try it.
No, I mean, we're pole dancers. We like to climb on things, right? But I was like, oh,
Yeah.
it's so different. I don't like it.
You were good at it though. So anyway, we have that, silks, hammock, swing pole, all of those sorts of things.
That's
Bungee,
so many
aerial
things.
bungee.
Oh, do
Yeah.
you? Is it
Yeah.
good? Do you like it?
It's really hard.
Is it hard?
It's
It looks
so hard. It's
doesn't
exhausting.
look so funny. It always looks I when I watch it, I want to try it. Don't get me wrong, I'm not poo-pooing it at all. But it always looks to me like people are like trying to run away and they get pinged back. Do you know what I mean? Like you're
Exactly
trying to escape
happens.
and you're like, whoop, you get pinged back into the
Sorry, it's such a funny thing. Also, if you're very light, like if you kind of weigh 55 kilos or under, we've got lighter ones and then we've got the heavier ones. But the lighter ones, if you weigh 55 kilos or under, you're just like bouncing up and down. You can't keep your body weight.
like my child in a bouncer.
Yeah. It's like that. It's like a jolly jumper. And they can't, like the lighter girls can't get their feet on the ground. And I'm just like, we lower it for them, but it still pulls them back up. It's the funniest thing. It's so
Honestly,
funny.
but you burn calories laughing, right?
Huge.
That's a great
Yeah.
workout because I can't laugh and pole dance at the same time. It's too tiring.
No, you laugh at this. You're laughing the whole time. And it's exhausting though, because it's way harder than you think, but it's so much fun.
Do you have to have a special qualification to teach that, or do you just get them and go?
No, you just get them and go. It's just
Amazing.
It's all aerials. Aerials is like pole.
Yeah, it's so Wild West. I love it.
It is a little bit Wild West. So that's it. Well, when we learn aerials, I went to different places to learn how to do aerials when we were going to put it in APA. And I learned, surprisingly, I'm talking to you about this, someone who used to do aerials at Cirque. So she was a trapeze artist at Cirque, and she was traveling, and then she stopped in Canberra because she met a guy in Canberra and got married, and
nice.
There's history. But I learned from her. So she was like the best teacher ever. She was amazing. I think she travels the world now I think she went back to Cirque, but to another circus and travels.
Yeah, still performing.
Yeah, exactly. So we learned from her, and then I went to a few different studios to learn as well. But it's very much like pole.
Yeah, amazing.
We do obviously have pole qualifications now, but not all studios do that.
I'm not qualified.
Yeah, I did the IPDFA course. I think I was probably one of the first one in Australia to do the course when it came to Australia, because that was 2000 and maybe I'm like to say 14 or 15 when I did that course.
Yeah.
So, and that was run by the International Pole Dance Federation.
And I've got 0 qualifications in pole dancing. 0.
Well, you don't probably need them, do you?
Not so far.
Best in the world and all that sort of stuff.
No, haven't thus far, but maybe soon. Who knows?
Creator, inventor, all those things.
I know. I'm just like, just bootleg it, right? Just bootleg it, like podcast.
Yeah, like our podcast. Oh my goodness, our podcast. Look, we're doing okay in the podcast, surprisingly, shockingly.
Like,
People are
amazing.
listening to us.
We don't suck. When you sent me the thing, I was like, wait, we're not terrible? It's pretty awesome.
People are listening to us.
It's incredible. Thank you, everybody. Thank
We
you.
appreciate you. We appreciate you.
We need like a name for you know how like podcasts have names for their fans or followers?
Oh, do
Like,
they?
yeah, they have like names
Oh,
for them.
yeah.
You know,
Yes.
like Taylor Swift has Swifties. Like,
Yeah.
we need like a name for our friends that like us. Or maybe
Oh.
even people that don't like us too, if they're listening. You're listening.
Well, they might not want the name if they don't like us. Maybe, I don't know. Our ideas, polars. I'm terrible at names.
Oh.
Obviously, we're terrible at names because it took us 3 podcasts before we even came up with a name for the podcast.
Yeah, okay. We need some listener suggestions so that we can be like, hey, insert name here, instead of being like, hey guys, or hey people, or hey friends, whole friends, hey.
Okay, all right. We'll do that. Like, all right, let's back on. We're off track. We're always off track.
I
So back
know.
onto aerial pole. So
Yes.
in that studio, we've got a huge big pole room, and then we'll have 24 standalone studios. So you can pole in there anytime. There's no classes in that studio, so it's a completely separate studio. And we've got a big IP virtual pole studio in there as well.
In the 24-hour studio, you've got the virtual studio as well.
So there's a separate studio attached to it. That's the virtual studio. Yeah. So which means you can watch the TV and do poll with anyone around the world, and we've got a whole heap of videos on there as well that we update.
That is super cool. That is super cool, and I'm definitely going to copy your idea.
Copy it. Be my guest. Copy away.
That is such a great idea. That is so cool. I love that. I love that because people are so like already, I think after COVID, they're so trained into like learning online or, you know, maybe using that sort of facility. Whereas before, I don't think we really knew how to do it. Whereas now it's very easy. You know, you get online and you use the video. And then if you have a space to watch the video and have the poll as well, like that is superb. That is an excellent thing.
Yeah, so we've got that there, and then we've got lots of little things like I've got a computer station there, so people can sit on the computer station in between classes and they can do online shopping or just hang out. And then I've got an outdoor balcony, a massive outdoor balcony that we do outdoor aerials, and we do flexibility classes and all that sort of stuff out there as well. So, and it's right on the lake, so you can see the water. Yeah, so
that's like a paradise.
It is.
Wow. Okay, I can't wait to come.
Yay, I want you to come to that one. That one's, I'm most proud of that one because it was just so much work and effort put into it. And I wanted to create a space that I wanted to be in. So it's kind of like people have said, oh, it looks like a day spa. Elle, it's beautiful. So I wanted that feeling when they walked in and it smelled nice and there was just pretty things everywhere. And
yeah. It's a luxe experience when you've thought about everything, when it's not just like we're going to work out, we're going to pole, like it's everything outside of that as well. It's a luxe experience and that's nice.
I mean, there's even things like I've got filtered water, like this tap took me forever to pick. But you know the zip taps where you've got sparkling water and the chilled, and I've got that there even. So
dang.
All the little things. And obviously we can't talk about it without talking about how cool my instructors are.
Yeah.
The best. Yeah.
The best. I applaud you because I didn't talk about my instructors at all. I was just like, yes, I'm amazing.
We did. No, we did. Yeah, remember I said.
Oh, you said?
Yeah. We talked about you Polaris instructors. We love you.
I love them. I love everyone. It's awesome.
Yeah. All right. So moving on. So another studio in Canberra that I would actually like to mention is Ispin. So Ispin was the second studio ever to open in Canberra, and it's the longest running studio in Canberra. And that's where I started.
Oh,
yeah. So without Ispin, Without Ispin, I wouldn't have opened all of my studios. The Australian Pole Championships wouldn't exist. Australian Pole Expo wouldn't exist. So Ispin, they've had I think maybe they've changed hands 3 or 4 times now, but every owner that's been in Ispin has been great.
Oh,
So
that's lovely.
yeah, it's just a little studio in the Woden area, but it's always been a really nice, welcoming, warm studio. So
Oh, that's so what was your first impression when you first went to pole dancing? What was your first thought of it?
I didn't. Oh, look, we all know I didn't know what to think. But when I did walk in, because there was Instagram back then didn't exist. It literally didn't exist.
Yeah.
So when I walked in, they had this front curtain that you couldn't see through, so you had to walk past this black curtain. I was like, what am I going into here, because it was at the front of quite a busy sort of court street, sort of
yeah
and I was like, oh, okay. And then I just walked around the corner and there was just a pile of poles and then mirrors. I think they might have 15 maybe poles, so it's reasonably a lot of poles, and then just mirrors, and then there's just a small bathroom, so it's not a big space, it's small, but I was just like, oh, this is it. And then I said, oh, why is there curtains? And they're like, oh, we don't like anyone, just guys sort of walking past and looking in. We just want the girls to feel safe and comfortable. And I thought that's nice. And I mean, there's no windows, there's no light or anything like that you can see yourself, but you do feel like nobody from the outside's looking in, and you do feel safe. So they've created that you do feel like what they wanted you to feel like, which is really nice. So you can feel like you can do stuff without, the outside world.
Without peering eyes.
Yes.
And
my studio is different.
Right.
You can see into mine.
Yeah, back then it was so different though, because people weren't as open to the whole pole thing. When you saw pole dancing, a lot of people just thought it was a strip club, people would be peering in to see what it is.
Yeah, no, exactly right. So they did a nice job, and they're still there. For them to keep going after so many years, and big studios mine come in, because Canberra's not a big place either. But then for them to keep going, that speaks volumes about them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
great following.
Yeah, exactly. They've got a really lovely, solid following, which is nice. All right, so we're moving on to Tasmania now. So Pole Kitty in Tasmania, and we're talking about Pole Kitty because they compete with us, and out of every studio in Australia, they had the most competitors.
Really?
Every studio in Australia. They had more than me, more than you. And we had a lot.
That's so good.
Yeah. How cool is
Go
that?
to Tasmania. That's so. I've never been to Tasmania before.
Yeah. Well, you're coming
wait.
now.
I know. I can't wait to go. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
It's soon as well. We're leaving soon.
Next week. I know. It's next week.
Are you ready?
I'd like to think I am. But there's still things I need to get done. There's still a little bit of printing, MC notes and
there's always last minute stuff you have to do.
Yeah. There's lots of things. So
that's another episode, isn't it?
That's another episode, yes. Definitely another episode, but I think we're ready. All right, so moving on, because we're talking so much and these episodes go for so long, and I don't even know if people want to listen to us this much, but here we go.
Look, you've gotten this far, guys. Keep going. We're nearly there.
Keep going. We're almost finished Australia. All right, then we're going on to Goddess, Aerial and Pole, and they're in Launceston. So Pole Kitty is in Hobart, Goddess is in Launceston, and they're actually a very pretty studio. They've got lots of gold and pretty decorations in there, and it just looks like a pretty studio, and they're lovely people, and they always come and support us at Expo and the competitions, and they're just nice to have around.
Oh, so beautiful.
Yeah. So Goddess, we love you too. And then we're moving on to our last state, which is South Australia, and Phoenix Studio in South Australia. They've got it's a mother-daughter team, and I want to talk about that. It's a mother-daughter team. Yeah. Nice, right?
That's a bit lovely. We love a family business.
Yeah, and the daughter competes, and the mum poles. I think she's same age as me, and she still teaches and poles. So what a cool thing to open a studio with your daughter that you both have the same interest.
Maybe one of my kids will like to pole dance one time.
Well, good luck with that. Mine don't.
Mine probably won't. I can see They'll be like, it's not cool, Mum. I want to do maths. I bet.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah. So yeah, it's really lovely. And they're really nice mother-daughter as well.
No.
Then Physipole, obviously, we've talked about Physipole, but Physipole in Somerton Park is quite a big studio, and Jem, who owns it, she doesn't live there, which I have had a big conversation with her about it, and she's moved elsewhere. She met a man, moved elsewhere. She's living in Queensland, but her team is running it for her.
Woo! Yeah, well, you don't live in Canberra and you run those big old studios there.
Right.
You're like,
Exactly.
seems
Yeah.
like the thing to do. Maybe I'll move as well. I'll just move.
Yeah. Yeah. You've just got to take a whole heap of people with you if you move.
Yeah. No, but I think it does speak volumes though when you can just you can leave your business and it still works, you know, like when you have set your business up to work without you, it's quite an achievement.
Yeah, look, I think so too. So obviously we can't do this sort of stuff without a great team.
You absolutely have to have a great team. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And people that, you know, you trust and they trust you, and yeah, they know what the vision is and they can continue that for you. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I think, look, if I never went back to my studio, like for years, they'd run it exactly how I'd want them to run it.
Yeah.
Which is, that's a lot. That says a lot. So
exactly. It's so beautiful. The same. I feel the same about mine as well. Like I've got such an incredible team there, and I've been off so much with like maternity stuff, like just having all these babies really quickly. I think I've been there, like I've been away from the studio more than I've been there, but it's still like it's exactly the way that I want it. It's like it's beautiful. It's such a nice thing to be able to trust people with that.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so now we're done for Australia.
We did Australia.
I think that this episode is really long, like all of our episodes. So
should we stop here and then do international in the next one?
I think so. I know we are going to talk about international, but I think for this episode, we're going to stop, or you guys will just be bored.
Yeah. So stay tuned for we're going to talk about some international studios next, some that we've been to, some that we haven't been to, that really inspire us and we think are gorgeous. Like we said at the beginning, at the top of this episode, we know that we did not mention every single studio in Australia. We would love to be able to do that because, you know, there are so many other beautiful studios that we didn't mention. We are sending out big loves to you, and we know you're out there. But yeah, these are just studios that have really touched us in a personal way, and we love them and hope that you love them too.
Yes, and thank you everyone for listening. We appreciate you all, and we didn't even know that anyone would listen, so thank you so much for that. And
we thought it would just be us.
Yes, we thought we were just talking to ourselves like we normally do. So if you would like to keep listening, please follow us, like our podcast, and you can find us at The Real Felix Kane on Instagram. Yes,
that's right.
Or Aerial Pole on Instagram, or our studios at Polaris Studios.
Underscore at the end.
Underscore?
It's Polaris Studios with an underscore at the end.
With an underscore, or Aerial Pole Academy. So type in the full thing. But thank you again, and we will see you soon.
Bye, everyone.